Imagine being judged on your performance before sunrise for 5 days a week. It sounds very unreasonable, but this is what teenagers are expected of every morning. High school start times are can be as early as 7:30 a.m. and students are being pushed to learn, test, and perform when their mind and bodies are barely awake. Teenage sleep schedules are wired naturally to begin later, but forcing them to wake up too early can disrupt their sleep, health, and academic performance. Research shows that starting school at even 8:30 a.m. can improve student performance and well-being drastically. In today's speech, I will cover why early start times are not only harmful, but why they need to be pushed back. For us to understand why they are so harmful, first let's understand why early start times go against teenage biology. Teenagers don't just stay up all night because they're glued to their phones and because they want to. It's a science behind it. When teens go through puberty, they experience a shift in their circadian rhythm, which makes them fall asleep later, most times at 11 p.m. or later. This increases the difficulty for teens to be able to wake up before 6 or 7 a.m. However, schools still insist on starting class as early as 7:30 a.m. despite this information. And as a result, teenagers are sleep deprived. According to the CDC, most teenagers do not get the recommended 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night, and the results of sleep deprivation are not small. The CDC says that sleep loss is linked to greater risk of obesity, weakened immune system, and depression. Also, tired students struggle with focus, memory, and learning, which leads to lower grades, more absences, and more behavior issues. But fortunately, there is a proven solution to this problem. The solution is pretty simple. Start school no earlier than 8 a.m. This suggestion is strongly supported by major health organizations such as the CDC, AAP, and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. They all agree that aligning school start times with teenage sleep patterns is critical for health and for learning. Schools have already seen great results from pushing back their start times. In 2016, a school in Seattle delayed their start time by 55 minutes, and as a result, students got an average of 34 more minutes of sleep per night. This increase in sleep led to a 4.5 increase in student grades, less absences, and student well-being. This means that later start times are practical and beneficial. Schools that push back times see the real results, which are happier, healthier, and more successful students. Now that we know what to do, let's imagine what would happen if we made this change and if we didn't. When school start times are pushed back, let's imagine walking into a classroom where the students are actually alert and awake. Their moods are more stable and their minds are more clear because they had more sleep. And as a result, their grades are rising, less classes are being missed, and overall their well-being is better. And even teachers see a change in their behavior and their attitude. Now let's imagine what would happen if we didn't push back these start times. Students are still showing up to class exhausted, drained, burnt out, and unfocused. Mental health problems such as anxiety and depression continue to increase, and teachers will fight to keep students engaged, and their grades will go down, and their performance will decrease. This is why pushing back these start times is the best option. Now that we have the problem, solution, the powerful impact, let's see what action we need to take. We need to recognize teen exhaustion for what it is, a problem that we can fix. Starting school later doesn't just let students sleep in, it helps them thrive academically and physically. We need everyone to take action. Talk to your local school board, spread the word, and spark change. If we want students to succeed, let's stop pushing them through very early mornings and expecting them to perform well. Let's give students the rest they need by starting school later. And when we do this, we give them a better shot at a brighter future.